the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for being here tonight. At this point, I'll open the meeting to public comments on agenda items only. And Elfrida, you're the first on the list. Remember, 3 minutes per.
I only have 2 short speeches. All right, Tillman, Shaughnessy Road. Rumor has it that the town has found the money to fulfill totally its financial obligation to the Mid-Hudson Library System on behalf of our citizens. I hope the rumor is fact and that a good and proper precedent is set from this time forward, and this is not just a campaign promise. Rumor. I hope it's truth.
Thank you, Elfrida. Mary Jane?
Hi. Do I need to speak at the microphone?
Yep.
Hi, I'm Mary Jane Bagley. I live on Oswego Road in the town of Unionville. And I've been in the town for about 30 years and in the rescue squad a little bit more. But I believe that libraries are extremely important to everyone, okay? It doesn't matter what your age is, you need to have a library. And I have been a library person since I was old enough to get in the door with my mother. And I made sure that my daughter got into the library as soon as she could. I believe that the town, they pay us to use our recreation, they pay us to do our hall. Why shouldn't we pay our bill, to the library? I mean, it's something that we really need. Right now, they're cutting back on our CDs, which to me is my life, because if I'm in the car, the CD is playing so I really believe that kids need the computers in there, they need the information in there, they need to read so that they can be decent, literate citizens of this future. They're gonna take care of us old people later, so they should be very literate. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Jane. Sharon King?
Hi, my name is Sharon King. I live on Brookside Lane. I'm a resident of Unionville, and I'm very upset about the library issue. Both of my boys use it, the 7th and 5th grader. They use all of the aspects, social events, signing out books, signing out audios. Not only am I a mother that's upset, but I'm also an educator. It's appalling that when you think of a town, you think of parks, you think of post offices, you think of libraries. And our town doesn't have one, but now we have the usage of all Mid-Hudson Library System, but now there's restrictions, which is very unfair for the education for our children, for adults, and for our seniors. I really urge the town to reconsider and support the Mid-Hudson Library System. Millbrook pays $100,000 a year. LaGrange pays into the system on average about $587,000. Beacon pays about $350,000. Unionville in 2014 only paid $30,000. Now I realize there's a discrepancy between the census population, but we're very similar to Millbrook. In 2010, the census had us both in the same vicinity, about 4,700 to 4,800 census population. So 30,000 compared to the 100,000 that Millbrook pays when we have the same amount of population is really disgraceful. We should be really supporting our public library, supporting the children, supporting the town members, and get that reinstated as soon as possible.
Thank you. Brian Hegarty?
So, I drive around a lot, and I go to close to half the libraries in the system. I borrow CDs and DVDs from my elderly dad, like the History Channel and whatnot, so he doesn't have to watch Oprah and Judy all day. So, before the restrictions, I felt like a panhandler going into the libraries. Oh, you're from Unionville? Oh, okay, you heard about the restrictions coming up. All right, And then now that they're in place, I borrowed someone else's card, and now I feel like a shoplifter, wondering if they're gonna give me the books or the material. So, I mean, I don't know if there's misappropriations of funds or the Mid-Hudson Library is asking too much. It just seems that there's 66 libraries in the system. We should be able to contribute. We're just as affluent as most of them. So, I mean, we have no police, we have no garbage, we have no water, we have no sewer. Now I'm not allowed to use the library. This is pathetic. Thanks.
Thank you. Ann McCabe?
Ann McCabe, Darren Road. I wrote a letter saying that I felt that the libraries were extremely important for many reasons, one of which was that when Ben Franklin brought the library to us, he also brought us the fire department, he was concerned about not just having a place where you could borrow books, but he was understanding that we don't merely need secure dwellings, we need community. Library provides books and tapes and CDs and computers and services and clubs for kids who are beginning to read, but it also provides a public space where people can come together and get to know each other and build a community. The town also is a community, and I think it's fumbled its job terribly. I believe that community grows when there's mutual respect. And mutual respect comes from, among other things, if you have a responsibility to people, then you have to fulfill it very clearly, very transparently, and do so in a very open and participatory way if you're interacting with other adults. It often seems to me, and the library was a good instance, that what happens at the town board is very similar to a group of people coming together at a diner, talking over a problem. Nothing appears very specifically in writing other than general categories, and then suddenly something does or doesn't happen. It appears to be whimsical. I hope that as adults we will take a lesson from Franklin, who signed the Declaration of Independence and put his life on the line when he was 70 years old. He understood that you learn, you earn, and then as mature people we return what we got. Thank you.
Thank you. Lolita Malik?
Lolita Malik, 61 Bracket Drive. I moved to this town in the early 70s, and my children, from the time we got in here, and this is the library, they not only used the facilities, they were volunteers there. Actually, it was their first volunteer job where they learned the responsibility of contributing and giving back to the community, and they did that during the school years in elementary, middle, as well as high school. So from that time onwards, the library has been a very good source for us. I personally have donated money to the library whenever they have these campaigns that come out, and I get them more money because IBM, which is one of the major employers still in this county, believes in them, and they have always given matching grants to double the amount of money that the employees give. And many IBMers have given money to the library just because of that. So to find out now at this stage that all of a sudden, because Unionville is not contributing their fair share, we are going to have restricted access, is in a way quite disgraceful. So I would like to suggest that even though many of the members of the elected officials may or may not be using the library, we are here to serve the public and our interests, and we want access to them. So please contribute the fair share, because I've been told that even if I personally give money, that does not matter, because the rules are such that the town has to give the money. Thank you.
Thank you, Lolita. Karina Kelly?
I want to thank the town council for putting the library funding issue on the agenda tonight. My name is Karina Kelly, and I reside at West Cliff Mountain Road in Unionville. I spoke to you last September regarding the library issue. when I presented to you petitions from residents and constituents and taxpayers regarding the adequate funding for the library. I'd like to review with you. On top, I highlighted for you a letter to Ms. Hitzman that was dated September 29th of 2014. That letter was just written weeks after I spoke to you last year. And in the third paragraph where I highlighted for you, for all of you to know, it says, for 2015, this letter is directly from the Mid-Hudson Library System, and it is public. You can obtain it publicly from the Mid-Hudson Library System website. But for 2015, we are respectfully requesting funding at a minimum of $50,000. If a minimum of $50,000 is not allocated, the Mid-Hudson Library System Direct Access Plan allows additional restrictions on the use of public libraries by Town of Unionville residents. These restrictions include at a minimum discontinuing the loan of non-print materials, which includes DVDs and CDs to town residents. If you please flip it over, it's a two-sided copy, so on the second page I'll highlight it for you, where it says for 2015, it is our hope that additional restrictions on town residents using the public library services are not required. However, in fairness to the communities in your area which fund public library services on an average of $28.79 per capita, an increase in the town of Unionville to a minimum of $50,000 is required, or additional library use restrictions for town of Unionville will be imposed as authorized in the Mid-Hudson Library Direct Access Plan. So I guess for myself, what I'm really wondering is how the decision to pay $30,000 was arrived on when $50,000 was requested. You, as a board, you've indicated at meetings and on the website posts, as well as on Facebook, that you're working to resolve the situation with the Mid-Hudson Library System. And if you turn to your next page, I refer to a memo that's dated March 5th of 2015 for all the Town of Unionville council members that you were invited by Roland Patterson, who is, for all of you, the president of the Mid-Hudson Library System Board of Trustees, to attend and speak on March 21st. I am curious if any of you were able to attend out of the 5 of you. So,
A letter was sent.
yes. So I have also given you a copy of Ms. Hitzman's letter, which was dated to Mr. Patterson, dated on March 9th of 2015, to be entered into the public comments again, available publicly through Mid-Hudson Library System through their website. In it, Ms. Hitzman, I highlighted for the council people, the town of Unionville currently provides $30,000 to the Mid-Hudson Library System. We have 2,025 residents who hold library cards, and not all of those are active users. With falling revenues and increasing expenses, most of which we have no control over, it is not possible to allot additional money in our budget. So what you are saying, town council, that out of a $2 million+ budget, you have been unable to locate $20,000 of additional funds, which would prevent library restrictions to the town of Unionville residents. The following message was posted by Supervisor Hitzman on the town website in 2014 that the Mid-Hudson Library System requested $144,554 for full services. Then in 2015, she posted Mid-Hudson Library Services requests $72,000 for full services. This information contradicts the letter, which all of you received, dated September 29th of 2014. If you did not receive it at that time, Roland Patterson sent it again on March 5th with his memo that is in your packet, which records the requested funding at $50,000 with no restrictions. The fact that the information provided by Ms. Hitzman inflates the monetary request by $22,000 at the least is misleading and disingenuous to the residents, constituents, and taxpayers. Ms. Hitzman is also stated on the website
You're about running out of your 3 minutes.
that we realize no access to a library is hurting our residents. It is the inaction of our town board that is hurting our residents, not the Mid-Hudson Library System. Thank you.
Jane?
Jane, wake up. I'll stay up for you. Jane Geisler, fabulous. Yes, Jane. I'm on Mildwood Road. For many of us, the library is recreation and relaxation.
It isn't just books and learning. Stop in at the Beekman Library and view the beautiful murals of local scenes. On the way back from the Appalachian Trail, drop into the Dover Library. When I shop in Pleasant Valley, I use the library there. No matter where you are, there is a public library. Everyone should be contributing and sharing the cost, just as we do the schools. As a senior, I will begin to need large print books. And if my macular degeneration gets worse, I will need books on tape. I can't limit myself to TV and radio. Besides, I can't get a good FM public radio station where I live in the valley of the Sprout Creek. Times change, and we must change with the times. When I came to Dutchess County 75 years ago, I went to a library in Fishkill Plains, an abandoned little church where the children's books were lined up on the church pews. Television was free to everyone who had a TV set. Now some government bureaucracy changed the system, and one must pay to receive TV signal. The schools were centralized. The Mid-Hudson Library was created, which enlarged the services so everyone shares and contributes to the greater good.
Thank you, Jane. Joe Kelly?
Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Joe Kelly. I am also a resident, and I live on West Clove Mountain Road. I have two comments about the library. The first one is, and I have extra copies of a document that I put together. If anybody would like it, I'll be sitting over there. One of the issues that has been brought up by the town board and Supervisor Hitzman is that the number of people using the library, or the traffic in the library that from Unionvale is fairly low, and therefore our contribution and what the Mid-Hudson Library System is asking for is don't line up. It's too much, and we don't use it that much. So what I had done is, when I got the notice in my email from the Mid-Hudson Library System about the restrictions, there was a lot of information that they provided. And I looked at the information, and one of the issues, or one of the tables that they provided was circulation of library materials to Unionvale residents from Mid-Hudson Library System member libraries. And for example, for 2013 through 2014, for a one-year period from August 1st to July 31st, there was almost, over 24,000 checkouts by Unionvale residents. Back when, I guess, the economy was better and people were able to get out more and maybe work less, the numbers were 26,000. They approached 27,000. For reference, for Beekman Library, almost 11% of their checkouts are for Unionvale. Dover Plains, a little less, 3.9. LaGrange, over 5%, and Millbrook is close to 12%. So, using the idea about usage and what our fair share that town of Unionvale should pay toward the library system based on usage, and based on the funding that these towns provide, which you've already heard about, the total would be $89,000. And because I'm an engineer and I'm geeky, I did it in Excel, so it's been checked. But that $89,000 is almost $60,000 more than the town of Unionville is providing now. And in comparison, one of the issues that has been brought up is that the town cannot afford to spend more money on libraries. Between 2013 and 2015, in the budget, the change to library funding has been $5,000. For park and recreation programs, which my family uses them as well, the change has been from $515,000 to $705,000 for a change of $190,000, and the total general fund appropriations has increased $360,000. So I think that's an important point of reference in terms of what the funding for the library means in terms of the amount compared to, for example, our wonderful park and recreation programs, as well as the total fund appropriations that the town board approves each year. The other issue that I wanted to bring up very quickly was that as is on the website, was posted a couple weeks ago, it says that the MHLS initially asked us to pay $144,000, which they reduced to $72,000, of which we sent $30,000. The town is asking for more detailed data on Unionville residents' library usage and to discuss options rather than just send what is demanded. And it was only through contacting the Mid-Hudson Library System and looking on the website that I learned that last year they did not ask for $72,000, they only asked for $50,000. And then I presented at last year's budget hearing and wrote a letter and was never told it was only $50,000. And then again, they contacted the town of Unionville and the town board and said $50,000. Were invited to go to a meeting, and the town said no. So I would like to know, and I think all the Unionville residents should have explained to them why it is only after restrictions have been put in place, after being told for 11 months that this is what is going to happen, that the library agreement is finally on the agenda. Thank you.
Okay, we'll take all your concerns under consideration. I would like to state one thing very emphatically.
There are other people. Mike, I was signed up on that.
Hang on. Karen, just a sec. Oops, I'm sorry, I skipped over you and went to Jane. I'm sorry, Karen.
I'm also, as people probably have guessed, supporting the library. I think even the 72,000, I know, let's for heaven's sake get to 50, but 72,000 is not even our fair share. The statement that Supervisor Hitzman put on the website just recently says, well, $10,000 for each of the 3 libraries that brought the petition ought to be enough. But the budget, that if 11% of both Beekman's circulation and Millbrook's circulation is things that are circulated to Unionville residents, and that doesn't count the things that can't be counted, the hours of computer access, and people that come in every morning to sit and read the newspaper, and it's just the things that circulate, and the programs and the meeting spaces, all the things that have been mentioned. $10,000 is nowhere near 11% of either Millbrook's or Beekman's operating budget. And that the statement also said that there was no mention that the restrictions, the consideration of the system-wide restrictions which have recently come into force, that this is a surprise. But the Unionville Town Board minutes of August 2011 contain a statement by the then director, thank you, of the Mid-Hudson Library System, saying that if we don't come through with a fair amount of funding, that system-wide restrictions will be considered. And they have been considered for 4 years, and we finally got them. But it shouldn't be a surprise. I'm just reiterating something some other people have said. Unionville and Washington have very similar populations. Washington's spending $100,000. We can't come up with 72. And in fact, Washington voters are going to be asked this year for an increase in that an $84,000 increase in that $100,000 that they're now spending to support.
Okay, Karen, you're hitting your 3 minutes.
Okay. So let's get with it and do our job and be fair to our surrounding towns and pay our fair share to support the libraries.
We have had our town attorney look into this, and he is going to give you a few comments on where we
Good evening.
stand.
My name is Jim Moran. I'm the deputy town attorney, and the board has taken this matter very seriously. They've asked us to look at some of the issues that have been raised with respect to the funding. One of the things that I think the public needs to be aware is a large portion of the library budget comes from state and federal funding, in addition to tax monies that come from the local municipalities. So part of the funding mechanism for the libraries, for the Mid-Hudson Library System, is from the state. The residents of the town of Unionvale are residents within the Mid-Hudson Library System, so based on the federal funding, the state funding, the county funding, and public funding that's provided to the libraries, as they are public libraries, the residents are entitled to use those services, notwithstanding any contributions from the town of Unionvale. So should the town board of the town of Unionvale contribute $0, residents would be entitled to use any materials, any non-print materials paid for with state, federal, county, or private funding. The restrictions are only permitted by New York state law on materials purchased by local funds from the individual libraries. So that's one of the issues that the board has asked us to investigate with respect to this system, to determine what non-print materials have been purchased with state and federal and private and county funds. So that's one of the issues that's on the table. Also, one of the issues that is how the funds that were contributed by the town of Unionvale have been used in the past. Has prior Unionvale money been used to purchase non-print materials? Unionvale residents would also be entitled to use of those. The regulations of the Commissioner of Education are pretty specific that the restrictions may only be placed on non-print materials purchased with local funds or books that are less than 1 years old. So for the benefit of the Unionvale residents, we're asking for some more information regarding what actually is covered by the restrictions and what's not, to give us an indication of, in essence, what we're paying for any additional funding. Also, with respect to the published restrictions, the public restrictions say that they're for all non-print materials. So again, we're asking for that restriction, for some information with respect to that. So the board has asked that we do some investigation with respect to that, report back to the board, and hopefully the town and the Mid-Hudson Library System will come to a reasonable accommodation, and we can get the restrictions lifted. So
Thank you,
that's
Jim.
all I have to report.
Okay. I'd just like to say, no, we're trying to get this resolved.
I'll rebuttal, huh?
No. And the town is working on it, and regardless of what you think, we're just about as upset about it as you are.
I mean, this is a public meeting, we're the people you're representing, can't she rebuttal?
I guess not. My 3 minutes were up.
We want to hear what she has to say, and we're the people sitting here.
And our town lawyer also misinterpreted the law, which is
No.
sad.
So please let
Sad.
us,
No,
at least let us.
that-
If I may, the restrictions,
Oh, he gets to
No,
No.
This is ridiculous, we're the people,
I'm
you
sure,
represent us.
we could continue to talk about this all night, but we'll go on to the approval of minutes of the last meeting. So we have a motion to approve the minutes of July 16th.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes the way they're written.
I'll second.
Second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay. Department. One person talks, one at a time. If you wish to talk among yourselves, please go out in the hall. You're welcome to do that. Our financial report, general fund expenses, $305,829. General fund income, $137,578. Cash balances, the end of July in checking, $42,977, in savings, $63,326, and certificates of deposit, $973,728. Highway fund expense, $53,043. Highway fund income, $1,079. Cash balances as the end of July checking, $26,615. Savings, $25,833. Certificates of deposit, $425,576. Capital project expenses, $115. Capital project income, $186. Cash balances in capital projects as of the end of July. Checking, $7,284. Savings, $29. Certificates of deposit, $294. In other things, the town has found a source for on-site solar or battery-powered cameras. Maybe we can try to get a handle on the ATVs. We also got a notice that the road salt after the August 31st is going from $62 a ton to $89 a ton because the county just got one bid. And they're going to keep us updated on that. The Cablevision quarterly franchise fee for the second quarter was $14,231. The sales tax for the second quarter was $54,362. And we also found that we can't use insecticide or herbicide in any areas in the town park that are used for public areas where people are. So that means the little bees in Godfrey can just keep on buzzing around. They're not, thank goodness.
I mean, the bees
they're
in the
not.
sand? You can't
Yeah,
spray
they're
anything?
No, unfortunately. They, but they're not aggressive. But it makes you really feel funny walking through them. Mary Lou, the town clerk's report.
Okay. Recycling, compacting, $6,000 taken in. The refuse bin, $1,065. Dog license, $341. Certified copy, $60. Copy machine, $18.25. Marriage license, $17.50. Recreation programs, $22,264.80. Timer rentals, $14,414. Concession stand, $6,500. Total fees remitted to the supervisor, $57,565.44. $75 to the state for conservation licenses, $17.50 to the state for marriage license, and $65 to the ag and markets for neutering fees, and the total taken in for the month, $57,723.52.
Thanks, Mary Lou. Highway?
You guys all please. All right, July and August, we reclaimed Eddy Road, we paved Eddy Road. Put driveway aprons where needed on Eddy, put down topsoil and seed behind the curbs. Fill some more potholes on Manila Still, Robinwood, Pleasant Ridge Extension. Cut down 2 dead and dangerous trees in Barnmore. Removed a tree that fell across Burbank Club Road, fixed the broken hydraulic hose and a clutch on truck 9. Burnt the brush pile, changed the starter to backhoe. Replaced 2 bad pipes on Robinwood Lane. We're going to pave the patches we fixed on Old Canby and Deer Pond by September, weather permitting. Working on that. And we're working on all the small stuff to get to Flint Road. So we'll get through the pipes on that and hope to have that paved by October. The 3 guys. So, all right?
Yep, thanks.
Thanks, Rich. Thanks, Rich.
Building inspector's report?
Yep. For the month of July, inspections performed 78, violation notices issued 2, building permits issued 20, old permit COs issued 21, municipal searches 10, complaints received 3, complaints acted on 3, violations abated 6, resident meetings 6, certificate of occupancy compliance 18, appearance tickets issued 0, fire call out 0, plan review hours 16, and the income for the month was $67.94.20.
Okay. Planning board report?
Okay, planning board for the month of July, we received an escrow deposit from Camp Young Judea for an amount of $1,200, and that was the total for the month.
ZBA?
Zoning board for July 2015, no money's taken in this month.
Okay, Parks and Recreation?
So we've got Parks and Recreation, and no problem. The very first thing I want to share is a note. I just put it in all of your mailboxes, but it's really important to me. I think that this is part of the community why everybody's here, and it's great that we can all work together and all do things, and each portion of the community has something to offer. So this is from Parks and Recreation. This is what we have to offer. First, from my standpoint, is thanks to our amazing staff. They have worked all summer, all year, some of them, and just put just an amazing show on all year and everything they do, whether they're getting the grass cut or whether they're helping the park stay safe at the pool or taking care of the campers during camp. There was an email post, a Facebook post that one of our campers' moms had put on that came up recently, and I hope I'm not going to embarrass her, I'm not going to say her name, but this is what she had to say. She says, "I hastily signed my 5-year-old up for summer camp this year. He had the greatest first day, and every day since has been more and more of the same. He loves every minute. After our camp ends at noon, we usually play and swim and have lots of time to observe the kids and counselors in the full-day camps. I'm consistently impressed with everything I see. The counselors are so amazing with the kids at every age level. The lifeguards are always on their game. I'm so proud to live in Unionville and glad my son has such an incredible place to play, learn, and grow." And I just shared, our staff are actually down at the park right now we have a end of the year party so we're doing a potluck thing, so it's kind of bummed that we had to come up here and have it on the same night, but they're down there, and I shared this with them as well for those who hadn't seen it. And I just wanted to start out this with just showing you the caliber of people we have here working for us. And I just hope that you're as proud of us down in the park as we are of what we've made for our community here. And I know, as I say, everybody's got something to be proud of and something to share, but this is what we do down in the park, and we're very proud of that. So that's that, and that's how I want to start this out. The rest of it is working the other stuff we're doing. Mowing slowed down, so we're focusing on a lot of other projects now, which is really good. We've been up at Godfrey Park trying to do a little bit more work up there. We've repainted the bathroom facility. We've opened up the trails a little bit more again. Up in the top, there's some walking trails that are really beautiful on top of the hill if you get up there. The picnic tables and pavilion have all been stained this year. Everything's been seasoned enough, so we stained it and prepped it. And I did want to talk about the bees tonight that are out there. And as Supervisor Hisman had mentioned, there's really nothing we can do about them. We cannot apply pesticides or anything because obviously we don't want children playing where we're putting pesticides. So the only real remediation is one, to go up there and spend almost 2 hours a day raking it every day. Two, get more people to go and play in Godfrey Park because we really just need to churn that sand up in order to get the bees to not habitate it. But if people aren't up in Godfrey Park, they're going to keep coming back. I know that there's not a ton of people that go up there yet. We're improving it and making it an even better park so that more and more people can use it. But in the meantime, the only other option is to eventually look at replacing the sand, taking the sand out. And if we do that, we do have to replace the playground. And we should consider looking at a pour-in-place surface so that we can get rid of the sand and not have that problem anymore. The volleyball court, we'll have to look at and figure something else out. But for the playground, that would be the realistic option, is to remove the sand and put another surface in there.
I was going to say that port in place thing worked very well
It's
here.
beautiful
Kids
down
love
there. It's great. It gets a ton of use. And it would be it's a permanent fix for the solution. We don't have, and it's not realistic for us to to spend 2 hours a day up there because we just don't have the staff to send up there to do that every day.
Do we have any kind of numbers on how many people use that?
I really don't have any specific numbers on it. It's hit or miss. It's a pocket park, so you're not going to have the same use that you have in Time War. But people come up there, they use it. But I know we host our volleyball games up there, the ones that were part of the town leagues, intertown leagues. So we host some volleyball games up there. But I don't know. We have ball fields from time to time, but I'm not 100% sure. I go up there and sometimes there's 10 people up there, sometimes there's nobody. And it's hit or miss when people have free time. The cupolas are all back on the building. They look a lot smaller, but the company assures me they're only 6 inches smaller than what was up there originally. But they look great and they're back up. So we've been working on some of the trails in the equestrian center. Just taking there's a lot of low branches, so we've been cutting those out. We're working on remapping the system so that everything is color coded so that people know where they are right now. Everything is in red. So we're going to make sure that most of the trails are blazed now. So we want to just coordinate our map to get that taken care of so people have an even better map and can pick out where they are a little bit more. The deck at the dam, there's some graffiti on it. We ended up restaining the whole deck anyways because it was time for it. But we were able to remove the graffiti. And then there was a tremendous amount of vines that had overtaken the wooded side of the volleyball court. That took a couple of our guys a couple days to get everything out, and they really wanted to quit a couple times. It was a lot of work, but we finally were able to reclaim that and break it back down a little bit so that there's a little bit of a barrier now between the wooded area and the tennis courts, which still get used, so we're keeping going. I did actually you mentioned the solar cameras. I looked at the pricing on those a little bit. The only concern I have is the service fees seemed higher than what I think would be good for, but I'm sure that we can try and figure something else out about it. But the cameras themselves looked like they would be really good for the.
They operate with the solar too, which is really nice.
Yeah, solar. Everything. Like we wouldn't have to connect them to anything.
Right.
So
That's the best part.
It'd be an interesting thing if we can find somebody to get us a good price on the monitoring fees. From a program standpoint, August 20th is the registration deadline for the discounted rate on our family camping weekend, which is August 28th, 29th, and 30th. It's not a family camping weekend, it's a camping weekend. Families and non-families are invited. So it's a camping weekend, August 28th, 29th, and 30th. The 20th is the date, Thursday the 20th, it is not a Friday, is the date for discounted registrations. Our after-school program starts up soon. We've still got a couple spots left. We also have a sports camp starting the week after our regular camps end that still has a few openings, and we're doing individual days for, we call it TGTT, thank goodness there's Time Warp. We've got a number of spots left in those as well. We do individual days, so if parents have one day or a whole week that they want to sign up for, they can. It's right before school starts. So
Is that
every
like the
day-
last week of August?
It's the last week of August and first week in September.
Okay.
And you can sign up for one day, all days. It's an 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. program. You can be there for any portion of it. And so we just want to make sure everyone knows that that's available. And lastly, Oktoberfest, put it on your calendars, Sunday, September 20th, from noon to 7. We've got a great schedule of events planned already. We've got live music from the Alpine Squeeze Band. We've got the Poughkeepsie Germania Club coming in, dancers and singers, bounce castles, vendors, obviously authentic German food, beer, non-alcoholic beverages. It's $5 admission, and you have free non-alcoholic beverages all day long. And I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Robert.
Dog control reports, cicada killers?
No, they're sand bees.
Mary Lou, was there a dog control report?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Okay, you check down.
There was 2 barking dog complaints, two loose dog complaints, 1 lost dog, 2 lost dogs and 1 found dog.
I knew that.
Good enough.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, correspondence. Yeah. A lot of correspondence when there's only one meeting a month. From governing, automatic license plate readers have hidden costs. Governing bodies are drowning in data. New laws you won't read about anywhere else. And Patterns for Progress wanted us to know this is their 50th year of being in business. From the New York State DEC, I thank you to George Kolb, our building inspector, who is also our flood damage administrator, for his clear presentation to their request on NFPA. New York State Controller. These are just news releases that are sent out. New York jobs top 9 million, a new high. Promote public official integrity. June tax revenues exceed expectations. Sales tax collections growth slowed. Tax cap will drop to 0.73% for 2016, impacting counties, towns, and cities. From the Dutchess County Planning Federation, they're planning for senior housing in Dutchess County. From the Dutchess County Economic Development, Dutchess County is planning a virtual broker tour for towns. What they're doing is asking towns for areas they have to develop so they can put this on this virtual broker tour. New York State Attorney General on controlling wage theft and identifying deceptive auto dealer practices, a new era for Boy Scouts of America, cracking down on Medicaid fraud and pulling the plug on deceptive charities. From New York State Public Service, we'll do a study of telecommunications in New York State. Dutchess County Planning and Development set a fall cleanout hazardous material day, which is posted on the bulletin board. From Cablevision, they sent changes in. Okay. You had in your box this availability. Dial-A-Ride is changing. Instead of signing up for a year, the daily rate per day is available. 1 day per week is available, and 1 day per month is available. We haven't had that, but I wanted you to be aware that they are changing their way of funding the Dial-A-Ride. And please go over these escrow accounts. They're going to be on the agenda next month to act on. Joan has indicated the ones that we should close out because they're inactive and no longer collectible, et cetera, et cetera. So please go over those. They will be on the agenda.
Which meeting, the first or second meeting?
First meeting.
Okay.
First meeting in September. And also, you have new copies of the procurement policy that came right from the code book. And what I'm going to do is assign, I'll take the first page. John, do you want the over the second
Yeah.
page
Yep.
review?
Yeah.
Ralph, the third page?
Yep.
And Pat, the over of the third page?
Okay.
And I'll have Steve do the fourth page. We just, if we all take a look at these, and then we can report on them and see if we want to change anything. We made a couple of changes by resolution, which we can't do because it's town code. So we have to change the whole code, but if we look at them and see if where our procurement policy is actually saying what we want it to say, then we'll get that done. Okay, you have budget transfers. There's several just for your information, but there are several that from Constable CE, we're taking it out of Town Building CE. Building Department CE is being taken out of Town Building CE. And Special Events is being taken out of Celebrations. Not a lot. One is $2,500. The Building Department is $72, and the Celebrations and Special Events is $141.
And one for the highway, right? Machinery, contract, real expense.
Yeah, snow removal, personal salary is down to nothing, so we had to take that out of machinery. We're right down to zero on salt and sand too. I don't know whether we can take advantage of that. Buying any salt before the current $62 a ton bid runs out, but we'll have to
try.
We'll have to, Rich is going to sit down with our finance officer and myself and see if any money can,
Rich, when does the price go up, do you know?
August 31st.
Oh, wow, only a couple of weeks. A little over 2 weeks?
No, we don't have much left to buy, but we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'd like to make a motion, we make these budget transfers as outlined on the page given us.
I'll
as
second.
mentioned.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we have request for a fee waiver for the Unionville Fire Company use of the large pavilion on August 23rd. What is your pleasure on that?
I'll make a motion that we waive the fee.
I'll second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? No longer have a gas grill, it's just a charcoal grill.
It's okay,
So,
that's fine, thanks.
the gas grill grilled its last
Mm-hmm.
and have been replaced. Okay, we have a request for refund for the large pavilion. The person that paid for it had a death in the family, and of course, they didn't want to hold their family reunion. So I'm suggesting that we do refund his $225.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we give him a full refund.
Second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, and if our programs go on, we have people that can't make them, but these are all refunds as per our policy for refunds. One is a traditional camp conflict, $260, and another traditional camp conflict, $112. The field hockey program was canceled, so they're asking for the refunds that they put down for the field hockey program for $159 on 4. And think.
There's
Then
two others.
Then there's 2 others. Especially camp was a conflict, so she asked for a $210 refund, and a traditional camp refund for $260. So what is your pleasure on those camp
I'll make a
refunds?
motion that we give them the refunds.
Is there a second?
I'll second that. They're all in order.
Yeah, they're all following our regular camp policy. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Believe me, the kids don't. Would rather come to camp than have the refunds. Okay, after the County of Dutchess and its came up and decided they had to test the water in Town Hall, which is the first time they've done it since 1995. They decided that since this parcel that the Town Hall is on is not subdivided and it's part of the parcel that the park is on, that we don't meet the definition of a non-community public water supply. So they want us to put in an ultraviolet disinfection unit, et cetera, et cetera. And we're applying for a waiver because of the few people that use this building, and it's not used at all from usually Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we've asked, and of course the waiver has to be filed by an engineer. So we've asked our town engineer to file the waiver to see if we can't not put in that disinfection unit, because one of the expense, and 2 is our boiler room is really very small. And I don't know where the parameters of putting in the disinfection unit, if it would even fit in there. But anyway, we'll try for the waiver. If
We
you
have to
would
vote
make
on
a
that?
motion, yeah, make a motion that we have
Oh.
Larry apply for the waiver of the installation of the ultraviolet disinfection unit.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I'll second it. But Lizette, I thought we did subdivide this property 20 years ago when we were developing.
thought
this
so.
I was pretty sure we did.
But it wasn't-
Because we had to get state approval, and we had to get another 5 acres into the park to offset it.
I'll check. I went through my maps and, no,
Maybe the map wasn't filed with the
I
county, but
didn't-
I believe we did subdivide it.
I didn't go through my maps in my deeds. But our assessor said it seems to be in the same parcel with the, but I'll check on that. I remember, I've got a whole separate thing with my deeds.
Okay.
I thought 7 acres was.
7 point
Seven.
something acres was
was
cut out
for the town hall.
through an agreement with Ralph Connor, and it required a state law passed through
Right, to
the
approve it.
auspices of
Yeah.
Steve Saland
Yes.
to get this cut out. This is separate.
Yep, okay.
Yes, there was a land,
Yeah.
there was a land swap of some sort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crappy land versus this, and there was a 3 acres, I think, John.
I think it
Okay, you
was,
said
yeah,
that.
it was a swap, it was a swap of something.
Well, yeah, I know that was the plan way back, and I thought we completed that prior to any construction.
I know I've got all the deeds, because when I first took office, I
I
went
got
into
them all
the,
to you from the county courthouse. Was that-
I went to the courthouse with with a friend, and we pulled every single deed for Unionville, so I've got them in my office, and they're in the Historic Society, so prior to
Well,
that. we
it's
couldn't
possible it
find
wasn't
them.
filed with the county also.
We'll look into that. So, separate.
We need to vote for that.
Okay, you got to vote on that ultraviolet.
Yeah, well, let's apply for the waiver just in case.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
Do we have a motion, second?
I made,
Yes.
I second it.
All those in favor, aye.
no,
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the last thing on the agenda, we're going to table until we can get more information. We're having our attorney send a letter. I need a motion to table number 6 on the agenda until we can get more information.
I'll make that motion.
So instead of paying the attorney, why don't we just pay the money to the libraries? I mean, you're hiring an attorney to do all the work and you're paying the attorney all that money. Instead of that, why don't we just take the money and give it to the libraries? That's what we want.
Here, Lola.
Amen.
She
That's
said-
what people want.
Okay, so
Why waste money? Let's just
we're
pay it.
going to look at it. We've got our lawyer who is looking into it. They're sending a letter tomorrow morning, and we'll wait for a reply to the letter.
You have 4 years to look at it.
Should have looked at it already.
The people have asked you.
Wait, one at a time.
You represent the people, and the people have said that they would like the library paid. You don't need to send a letter, you just need to pay the library. It's simple. Just make a motion to pay the library, second it, all A's, and
Well,
we're out of
we're
here.
going to we're sending this letter, we're gonna get an answer, and if we wanna do that, we can put it on the first meeting in September, which is only in a couple of weeks.
But you've had 4 years to do all this.
We just want you to do it now. We're ready. We've
No.
been ready.
And if Mid-Hudson invites you again, will you take them up on it? Because I read that memo. They respected you, and they expected the same mutual respect. And what I see is you have not respected Mid-Hudson Library System, nor have you respected the residents of the town.
Oh, yes. We respect the Mid-Hudson Library System, we're just going to ask them for more information to make an informed decision.
What information? We gave you all the
That's it.
information
Do
you
you know how
We-
embarrassed the members of the community are
Yes.
in Unionville?
We will take
When we
all
go
your,
there and we get shut down, that's an embarrassment.
Yeah.
Who is going to apologize to everybody in this community for the embarrassment
Just-
of our children when they go into the library? That's what we're all talking about. You have 4 years. And on here, it says you're going to discuss and approve the agreement with them and not wait another month. That's why we're all here.
With-
We want to hear you
It-
discuss
it's
it,
all-
and discuss it.
we're going to send a letter, we're gonna send a letter and wait till we get some information back, and we can go into this again. That's it. That's all. We have motion to approve the payment of bill.
I'll make a motion.
I'm sorry, but could we
Second.
hear from somebody who represents the library?
I just have one quick statement. I'm not certain what the letter from the lawyer is looking for in terms of information, but based on what he was discussing, information with regard to how much state funding we get, I can tell you that the Beekman Library gets roughly $3,500 from the state, and we get $362,000 from the taxpayers of Beekman, and we get $0 from Dutchess County. Now, I'm the director of that library, so obviously I know those numbers off the top of my head. I can't tell you the numbers for the other libraries, but I do know that you can go to the Mid-Hudson website. No need to pay anybody anything, just go to the website and look at the reports that we file with New York State, because we all file reports every year. And the
Okay.
numbers are right there in the reports, how much comes from local taxpayers, how much we get from the state.
Thank you
Okay?
very much. The town is very concerned about this, and I'll say again that we are going to consider it after we get some answers to the letter that our attorney is going to send.
Can you tell us what it is what answers you need?
Yes, what
What
information do you need?
what questions are being asked?
Not until the letter is sent. Yeah.
What's the question? Just want a little transparency.
You can get a,
The answers that, again, the question is with respect to, you know, what resources are purchased with local funds versus other
But it
funds.
shouldn't matter.
That's just how can we get out of paying them, that's what you're looking for. We don't wanna find out how can we get out of paying them.
We just need to
We
pay
wanna
them.
pay them. We
That's
are
morally
need to
right.
be
All right.
responsible to pay them.
We're gonna wait to answer this letter. We will put it on the agenda again next month.
I would advise you to do that before the election time.
We are the people.
All right, we're listening to you, and we realize your concerns, and believe it or not, we're just as upset as you are that this happened. Okay, Elfrida?
In addition, we'd like some clarification when the budget comes out, because we would like to know where we pay our taxes to before we have to pay the bill. Because I don't get to question you where you're spending my money, and I have lots of questions about this budget as I've watched you over this past year.
Okay,
It is alarming what you choose to spend your money on.
This is not a public part of this meeting. That will be all.
Yeah, let's finish.
Elfrida, do you have
Listen,
public
you do
comment
get-
on non-agenda?
We haven't gotten a second for the tabling and a vote, and then you haven't paid the bills too. You're not ready to open.
Okay,
John,
sorry,
hold on.
Elfrida, just
I'm
a
not
sec.
sitting down again.
Yep, hold on one second.
We tabled, we need a motion to table this number
I
6.
thought Ralph made the motion.
I
She
made
did, I
Pat
thought we
did.
voted on
I
it.
need a second and a vote.
Okay, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And we need approval.
I made a motion to pay the bills
Yeah.
also.
I second the motion to,
Okay, and how
Pay the
about
bills?
the bills?
that was, John made the motion to pay them. I second it.
All right.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
At least our bills will be
All
paid.
right, now.
Okay,
now-
Elfrida? Roads.
You're up.
You up to me now?
Roads.
Tillman Shaughnessy Road, again. Richie, are you still here? Okay. Several months ago, Highway Superintendent Wisman announced that Eddy Road, and I think you said Mallory Road, would be redone this year. My assumption was that our town highway workers do this work. Is that correct?
Most of it, yes.
And then there was an announcement, I think from Rob, that there was going to be some paving work done in the park, but that was going to be done by an outside company, not by the town. Is that
We don't
correct?
do our own paving, we don't have a paver.
Say it again.
We do not have a paver. The town has never had a paver. We don't do our own paving.
So you're not doing Eddy Road then, because that was, they're working on paving that. I don't get it. What's the division?
Eddy Road is finished.
Eddie Road was
The road's
done
finished.
already.
It was
Hire
made-
someone
We
to
do
pave
most
it.
of our work as much as we can in-house. We don't own a paver, and we don't own a reclaimer.
Rich, I think what she's looking for is clarification.
Subcontract.
Yeah, who's doing this?
Right.
It's not put out to bid, it's subcontract.
Oh,
So.
we bid it out,
She's got it.
yeah.
Okay, so maybe I slept through this. Jane and I are old. But when was this bidding process occurring?
Way back in March, February, March?
No.
Yes.
Okay. We'll get you a copy of the bids. Would you want that?
I think I
She's
asked-
already gotten them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't have it yet.
You got them from, well, I was on vacation. I have a whole pack of things that Ginny copied for you.
Oh, good, okay, well then I'll see
You
it.
did get
I
it.
didn't get a bill yet, so.
You paid $18.75. You did get a bill.
I'm going broke on this town. All right, anyway, my concern was if our town is not doing the work on these roads, if that's being bid out, then what are the guys doing all summer long? Richie reported some trees, so on and so forth. Are you cutting brush along the roadsides, Richie?
Yeah, we're waiting for a $4,700 part for a mower. to
Oh, there you
start
go.
that.
Okay, and what about potholes on Shaughnessy Road and the hole out here?
The hole out here?
Yeah, Lizette told you back in
parking lot?
February, there's a hole out here on the road coming up, and that
We're
hasn't.
working on a bunch of other stuff, we're getting caught up on our smaller
Okay.
stuff, like I just said before.
Okay,
Right, I'm down 3 guys, I got 1 guy that's dying of cancer right now at home.
I had heard that, and that's very
He's
sad.
loaded with liver cancer, kidney cancer, I'm 3 guys, that's all I got, we're trying to get by.
Okay,
And I'm trying to do my part, but obviously you don't see that.
no, I don't, because I keep hitting those damn potholes on my road. I don't go far.
Elfrida, hurry up.
Stall ball is what we used to call this in sports. The whole library did, thank you very much.
Okay. Shelley?
Good evening.
Hi. Thank you.
Thank you for having us tonight. I represent Time War Summer Camp. the traditional camp and,
Handouts.
I think I'm wrong, and specialty camp. We have some concerns. I want to thank Rob before for praising us on the job that we do. We do run a phenomenal camp down there. We have people from all towns, all around this area that come to our camp, word of mouth. I can say I have, and I think I speak for Kathleen also, we have the best staff in Dutchess County, which is what brings us here. At the beginning of the summer, our staff, our lifeguards, and our counselors were giving a rate increase on top of the rate increase that they received when they signed their packets back in January. We all got a 2% increase back then. Some of them got as much as a 20% increase just recently, beginning of summer. We tried to resolve this, Kathleen, myself, Katie, and Jess tried to resolve this personally to get some answers as to why this happened. We are not questioning that our counselors deserve this pay. As I said, I have the best staff in Dutchess County, and nobody's going to question that. I've been here for 14 years. We run the best program. Our concern is our counselors were given an increase, our lifeguards were given an increase, our program director was given an increase, and our art director was given an increase. We were overlooked. We are what run this program. We are the backbone of Time Warp Park's summer programs. We're the backbone. And we feel there was a slap in the face. I'm thankful for my job. I love my job. I come to work every day because I love my job. But I don't feel that we're being completely honest with in questioning why we were overlooked and why we were not given increases. We were told that it was an oversight and that the increases for the lifeguards as well as the counselors were in the budget for 2015. So we went and did our homework and we pulled out the budget from 2014 to 2015. In taking out the expenses for the summer camp program, I believe it was about $9,200 that was left, $9,700 that was left. That did not constitute the raises that our staff received. Did not constitute at all. That money was not in the budget. It was not an oversight. They were not due that money. Again, they deserve it. I'm not saying they don't. But we want to be honest with. We want the truth. We were told that other camps in the area were called around to see what their salaries were, to see if we were compatible with them. We called other programs in this area ourselves. You can see in the packet that we handed you that our counselors are the best paid counselors in this area. And we called camps that were comparable to ours, that offer the same programs. Nobody quite offers what we offer, but the best that we could do. And our counselors are paid way more than any counselors in this area.
Shelley, your 3 minutes are up.
Okay, I thank you for taking the time. We tried to resolve this personally. We would like an answer as to why our counselors and our lifeguards received what they did, which narrowed the gap between what my staff is making.
Okay.
What Katie makes is $1 more an hour than a program director, and we have all the certifications and run this entire program. We would like answers as to why we were overlooked. Thank you for your time.
That's it. I will tell you again.
The highest, we bring in the most income for that department.
Okay.
So the revenue that we generate is the highest in the Parks and Rec department. And not only that, you sent a letter to our counselors stating that it was a correction in pay, and then sent us, or I'm sorry, stating to the counselors that it was a raise in pay, and then the letter that you sent to us said it was a correction in pay.
Okay.
So not only did you contradict yourself in 2 separate letters that you sent to the same staff members, you have not been honest whatsoever in what actually happened with these pay increases.
Yes, I have. I've talked to you before.
So is it a correction in pay, or
Look,
is it an increase?
you weren't signed up, and we took Shelley. That's enough. Okay. When
Well,
you
I think that
guys,
maybe you need to start being a little more honest with
I
people.
am honest. I'll answer these ladies and I'll answer you when I found out that our lifeguards and our camp counselors were not given what was put in the budget for their salaries, I instructed Rob to bring their salaries up to what was in the budget. The rest of these ladies that came in tonight, their salaries were just about what, that they are getting what was in the budget. And it was not a raise in pay. It was just merely bringing them up to what was in the budget because they were getting minimum wage, and that was not what we had in the budget for them.
In the budget when there's only $9,700
In there, that's all,
There's-
that doesn't even cover
and that doesn't
You're-
cover the raises that.
Ladies, you're paid what was in the budget.
No, we're not. I'm
Yes, you
sorry.
are.
We have the
What
budget
about-
information if you'd like us to present it. We have all the budget information with us.
And what about
We
the
can
fact
present
that
that.
you told us that you called around to other camps and we were comparable?
Yes.
Other camps in the area are making $8.75 an hour. You raised our counselors to $11 an
Oh,
hour.
no, I have
Yes, you did,
document.
and we spoke to every single camp in the area, and that's what they were raised to. You closed the gap between what our counselors are making and what the directors are making to less than 10%. When the town of LaGrange had a 50-something% difference
Look.
between the counselors and the elected.
That is enough. I called all the
That is not
county
true.
supervisors, and we found that their lifeguards and their camp counselors were getting in the vicinity of $10 and $11 an hour, which was in our budget for those positions.
Well, then how come when we called, they gave us completely different numbers than what you're telling us?
I have
They were
no
all from that
idea, but
county.
I've got it written.
And not one of
And
them
so do
told
we.
me that they spoke to you prior. Not one.
No. Well, they did. I'm very sorry you're upset about it, but we stuck what was in the budget, and I was very embarrassed that they weren't.
Transparency, where apparently.
That's all. When I found out that those youngsters were getting only minimum wage, when I had more in the budget for them, they were just merely being brought up what was given the budget. These ladies that spoke tonight are getting what was in the budget for their positions. Adjournment?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor, aye?